for the very first time in many years, Dr. Nancy Baraza, former Deputy Chief Justice. And before we go to our next point that you have, there's a message here from Corporal Onyango. Apparently, you know him as OGW, one of your students. He says, Honorable Dr. Nancy Baraza is my teacher at the UON School of Law, Parklands. We are so proud of her, very sober-minded and an oasis of wisdom. Corporal Onyango, OGW. Okay, so that's the people you teach.
Yes.
But you know what? Maybe you wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for that incident. And we have to talk about that incident because it happened. Take a look at this. Okay, there's no sound on that, but that was the guard at the mall, Kerubo, and apparently, she said you pinched her nose, and it happened. I mean, looking back, and it's been 7.5 years. What happened?
She moved on. I have moved on.
Do you regret what happened? Do you regret the events that happened that day?
I think things happen for a reason. I don't know why it happened. It has happened.
Yeah.
But we have moved on. I'm sure she has moved on.
Sure, absolutely.
I have moved on.
But at the time, when the events were spiraling literally out of control, did you ask yourself, what did I do? I mean, if you could relive that moment again, would you do it differently?
I was surprised at what was happening to me. Spiraling, literally plummeting. I didn't believe what was happening to me. But then it did happen. It took various dimensions. Yeah. And I just let go. I just watched and let go.
Did you think it was unfair for you, the response, the public response? You think it was unfair?
You see, Kenyans sometimes, there are some who are genuine. There are some who are just malicious. Yeah. So it was a combination of all. I know the malicious ones, and one day I'll tell them. I know those who really thought that shouldn't have happened. But the majority of them were people who are just malicious, out to finish me. Yeah. Yes. Whether they were relatives, whether they are people you thought were friends. So I don't know. Those who were genuinely concerned, that was okay. Yeah. But those who are just malicious, Jeff even paying fellows money to go to the media to finish me. That is a project to be finished. Yeah.
It must have been very heartbreaking for you, huh?
Well, it was, but sort of. I've been in the public for long, interacted with Kenyans, so I think I understand Kenyans. Yeah. So many things don't shock me. They don't at all. Really? Yeah, absolutely.
One day, are you going to talk about these incidents as in a book form? Because, like you say, Kenyans can be very vicious in social media, especially those ones under pseudonyms.
Yes.
They can be very vicious.
They can be horrible, but once you understand them, then you don't let them break you. And I think that is what has been my pillar of strength. That I see through you. How many of you are genuine in what you are doing? Yeah. How many of you are malicious? All right? How many of you just envied me for that job? So, I reason that way and I let go and move on. Yeah. And I look at my CV, I have a good CV, a beautiful one. And so I walk to the next station and show them, this is my CV.
What was the biggest lesson you learned from that period?
Biggest lesson from that period? Don't take anything for granted. However small, however big. But just the level of malice among the people. Level of malice. Things being alleged, I've gone to bribe, I never did. I was so devastated. I was in that house. I never left my house. But then all these things going on. And of course, everybody jumping on it and adding more vitriol. Yeah. But I kept cool. I watched, sometimes amused. but just wondering at the capacity of human beings. Yeah, and you know, I've spent my life in public life, you know, in civil society, running feeder, trying to do good for Kenyans, fighting for social justice, fighting for the people. And then at that moment, I realized, now, who are these people I've been fighting for? You know, how you question your entire life. What have you been spending your time on? I almost gave up. I almost gave up. But then I'm like, really? No, maybe there are some good ones. And they are indeed very good Kenyans, but they are real malicious Kenyans in this country.
Yeah. Did you lose some real friends, some close friends?
No. My friends hung around me. They supported me. I don't think I have lost my friends. They are there and they were there for me.
What about your colleagues in the judiciary?
The judiciary was a different ball game there. Judiciary is a different place. It is a sort of insular institution. And I think my experience there, I wouldn't say was very, very good. Yeah, because we were treated, I was treated as an outsider, together with Mutunga. Completely like rejected. You are outsiders, like you have invaded a place which wasn't yours. Yeah, so it wasn't nice for me at all. And even as I was going through all this, you know, I got to hear what some of them were saying. Oh, let her go. And these are judges. She walks around like she owns the world, you know, imitating how I walk. But you know me, Jeff, you know how I own my space.
Yes.
And that's how I was born. I walk, I own my space. And then look, she walks like... So it isn't a place I admire to go back to. No, my experience there wasn't good at all.
You were talking about the vitriol and the haters a short while ago. Do you forgive those people who really came down on you, who really went out of their way to ruin your name? Do you forgive them?
I do. You know, some of these things you let go, you forgive and you move on. I have a smile for everybody. Okay? And that is what has kept me going. I hate nobody. I don't hold any ill feelings towards anybody. I don't blame anybody. I mean, what shocked me is that people can be that malicious. Yeah, but then again, I'm like, oh, but that is just so typical of human beings. Yeah, but I forgive and I move on. If you don't forgive and forget, then you are kept back. You don't move. The woman you allegedly pinched her nose, Kerubo, have you ever met her since? Have you ever been in contact since? No. In fact, I have looked for her several times. Yes, in fact, I would want to meet her one day. If she's watching you right now, she could be from somewhere. What do you tell her? Happy New Year, Kerubo. How are you doing? I hope your life is successful. Yeah, and I wish her a long life, good life, success. Would you want to meet her? Oh, one day I'll look for her. You will? Would you maybe perhaps apologize for what you did? I would want to meet her and find out how she's doing. I'm sure she would want to find out how I'm doing. I'm sure. All right. Yeah. Look, when you walked, I saw you walking down the aisle. So you obviously walk, let's say, in the mall or down the streets. Do people point at? Do you see people pointing at you? Do you see people reacting to, hey, that's so and so? Oh, when I walk around, no. No, you must. You must. Right now? No, not right now, but in the streets, yeah, you know, day to day. No, people call me Nancy, how are you? DCJ, in fact, they call me DCJ and they are very happy. Yeah. We chat a lot and they tell me so many of their problems. I go to the mall, I go to the shops and I get so many hugs. Really? And people are like, oh, you are teaching my children so well. Oh. So I just get hugs. Yeah, That, what is the word?
Go on.
That hatred,
Yes.
I think it was a clique. A clique of people.
Right.
The reason, get her out of there.
But why, Daktari, why?
Well, I don't know.
Were you a threat to them?
I think I was. Some of them, I was blocking them. I think they have their eyes onto the big seat. This one, I can tell you, it's the truth. All right? Some, they just don't want another person to succeed.
But okay, so coming back to that, do you think your removal from the judiciary was justified? Because you fought it all the way to the appeal, right? And then you withdrew the appeal at the tribunal.
Well, I was getting nowhere. You see, when everybody is so hostile, things are so hostile, and you also don't want to hold an institution hostage. No. The institution has to function. Kenyans want justice, and I didn't want to stand in the way. And you weigh your options. You are not really, your viability is diminishing, you know, with all that, those fights out there. And so I didn't want to hold the judiciary hostage. Yeah. And my reason for going to the judiciary, I have practiced there for a long time. And I just wanted to go there and change a few things here and there so that the wheels of justice can move, so that Kenyans can realize justice.
Look, as the first ever woman Deputy Chief Justice, did you think that one day, you could become Kenya's first woman Chief Justice?
Oh, I hadn't gotten there, all right? I got in as Deputy Chief Justice, and I wanted to do my reforms from there. And I tell you, within those 6 months that I was there, I put together our transformation framework, the judiciary transformation framework, which has been the framework for transforming the judiciary. Yeah. The one which was launched by Mutunga, the 2012, 2016. All right? Yeah. I never slept. I put that document together. It was a very, very comprehensive transformation framework, which I sold it to World Bank. As you guys were sleeping, I was teleconferencing with Washington, World Bank, because it had withheld money because the judiciary did not have accountability institutions. So that framework had all that, and they liked it. And let me tell you, it unlocked a lot of money from World Bank. Yeah. Yes, it did. And from government itself, because then we could demonstrate we have capacity to spend money and we can account for it. And from all that hard work, and then they turn around and they did this to you, you must have felt like, you know, a slap in the face. Sorry, I have some flu. Pole. You see, you do things, you have an opportunity to work, you work. If you expect hallelujah from people and whatever else, it may never come. I just wanted to contribute to the transformation of the judiciary so that Kenyans get justice. What being in court for 20 years, you have no judgment. Yeah. That is how it was. You know, I stood on those court corridors 10 years with a file which gets so battered, so old, and you have never been heard, or you have never got a judgment. And old women die and leave their cases, and it was a mess. Yeah. And I wanted to contribute to a transformed judiciary that will enable Kenyans realize justice. And if you have a functional judiciary, then even your economy becomes stable. Investors will come because they know they are coming to a country which has a justice system that works, that they resolve their commercial disputes in good time, and they invest. But when it is in shambles, you take 20 years, files get lost, then you lose it. Yeah, it sounds like a case of selective justice, Dr. Ari. And let me ask you this. What happened to you, a simple nose-pinching incident,
led to you losing your job. Today, there are governors accused of murder, allegedly murder, or manslaughter. There are MPs allegedly shooting DJs. I mean, and they're walking free. And you pinched someone's nose and you went home.
I didn't even pinch. Who saw me pinch? All right? But what you are saying is right. I think it's a systemic thing that we need to talk about, even as people are talking about reforms through BBI. We have to reevaluate our value system. Yeah. What is good for us? What is bad for us? What value system do we want? So that we cannot, for example, stick on illegalities and say, oh, because the law says this, let me be here. At least sometimes we should probably consult our morals, our ethics, and sometimes maybe just step aside when such things are happening. But where we have a situation where people feel there is selective justice, again, that is not good.
But it's happening, Dr. It's happening left, right, and center.
And so I'm telling you that is not the right thing. If that is what Kenyans are saying and how they are feeling, these are some of the reforms that we need to work on. All right?
Yeah.
A value system. Law does not solve everything. Where are our morals? Where are our ethics? And you know, I was in the constitution making process of Yash Pal guy.
That's right.
All right? Then we put that chapter 6, a tough chapter 6, which
nobody reads chapter 6.
It embodied our morals, our values, our ethics, but then interested parties watered it down. Okay? So we should go back to our moral values, our ethical values. And so if it is murder you have committed or money laundering you are doing, step aside and let us instill some confidence in our institutions.
You know, Kenyans never resign, only people like you, but you know, Kenyans never resign.
Now they should learn how to resign. That's what I'm saying. And for me, this BBI thing, it is more of a social political process, not purely legal, social political, where we should now create a conversation. What should we be doing and what shouldn't we be doing?
Yeah.
All right? So that we create a value system around some of these things. If you have been charged with such things, or there are those bad rumors around you, and you hold a very important institution, probably, you know, in some countries, they step aside.
Absolutely. Most countries.
Aside. So as Kenyans, we shouldn't say, this is Kenya. No, Kenya can do better than that. So we must develop a value system which enables us to step aside, have the grace.
You know, Paul Mwangi, one of the co-architects of the BBI, he said, he broke it down perfectly the other day. He says, we need to work on our software.
Absolutely. And he's right.
It's our software.
Yes, it is our software. The hardware, we have it in the Constitution.
Yeah.
If they are talking about inclusivity, they are talking about corruption, they are talking about devolution, they are talking about, and they in the Constitution, they are there. Look at Article 27. It's indeed talking about social inclusivity, equality, non-discrimination, equity, etc. Look at our Article 10. It's indeed just a value system for our country.
Yeah.
So all those things are there. But as Paul says, we need to work on our software.
Absolutely.
And probably get out of these legalities, get out of this idea that law solves all our problems.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't. We have the law. What have we done about the law? Doesn't it say when you make appointments, they must reflect the face of Kenya? You and I, Jeff, we are good, decent Kenyans. How can two groups just be sharing jobs in the Republic like other Kenyans don't matter? Is that the face of Kenya? And is indeed in the law? Isn't it in the Constitution? So we have ignored the Constitution. We have ignored the law. We have a beautiful framework. It's not for lack of law. It's just that we have bad manners, all right, which we need to work on. It's just that we are so tribal, we are so chauvinistic, and that goes to Paul's software. And I hope Paul, when they get into the nitty-gritties of debunking this, get in even social psychologists, get counseling psychologists. Kenyans are so traumatized by the happenings that happen among the elites. Yeah. It is not a legal thing. It is a social political thing. We are going to see how we balance the politics around some issues. But basically what Kenyans are saying is, how are we living? It's as basic as that. Yeah. They are not even saying it is the law. And those of us who know the law is there. And it's a good framework.
Yeah, but look, you served in the judiciary for a little short while. What was the greatest lesson you learned from there, from the judiciary? What was your take home?
The judiciary, and if you go back to Justice Willy Mutunga's first address, I think at 100 days after we had been in office, and he made a remark that this is an institution which was set to fail. Yeah, it was limping, deprived of finances, deprived of personnel. You have 40 million Kenyans. You have 40 judges. How can you ever deliver justice? Much as we complain, cases were being delayed. But how many judges did we have? And that was the status of the judiciary. So it needed a lot of work to transform it. Partly it has happened. Judges have been appointed. We thought we had fixed the issue of financial independence for the judiciary. But look at what is happening now. If you wake up and very unilaterally cut the budget of the judiciary, you are crippling that judiciary.
Which is happening, by the way.
It is happening.
Yeah.
It is happening, and you are again setting up that institution to fail. It had picked up. It stopped limping. It had picked up, and they were doing very well. Yeah. And Justice Maraga also built on the transformation framework. He has a sustainable transformation framework. But now they are pulling the rug from under his feet. They are denying him finances. So again, setting the judiciary to fail, which is not good. The judiciary is our institution, and we must insist that it's enabled to work. Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think it's been set up to fail? What is the ultimate purpose for that?
I don't know. Maybe we just don't understand how the judiciary works. Or we are so detached from Kenyans and their needs from the judiciary.
But there are those critics who say, you know what, the judiciary is so corrupt anyway.
Then catch the corrupt ones. You don't kill the institution, all right? You catch those corrupt ones, and I think there are mechanisms through which corrupt judges or magistrates, judicial officers can be caught. But you don't use that to cripple the institution. Yes.
Have you been in touch with former Chief Justice Willy Mutunga?
Willy, we meet at meetings. Yeah. Yeah. We meet.
And you're friendly? I mean, you're good?
Oh, he was my teacher. Brilliant teacher. I'm very, very proud of him. In fact, I never called him by another name. I called him Mwalimu. Yes.
Was he your closest friend in that judiciary Supreme Court?
I think we hung together. We had a similar background, similar ideology. I think we came from civil society. Yeah. We are easy people, really are not attaching much importance to the wig. And we thought that was part of the transformation because part of transforming the judiciary was moving away from colonialism. Really. So some of those things, ideologically, we gel. Yeah. And he's my teacher. And once a teacher, always a teacher. And a nice fellow. Willy is a very nice fellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does Linus Kai call you Mwalimu?
Yes.
He does?
He does.
Is he good? Is he smart?
He's smart.
Okay, okay.
He's smart.
Just checking.
Even if Johannes on door, he calls me Mwalimu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had a chance to go back, and I asked you earlier on, if you had a chance, if they nominated Dr. Nancy Baraza back into the Supreme Court, would you take that?
Now, who would nominate me?
You never know. It's BBI time. You never know.
Oh, I don't know.
No, are you not ruling out? You're not closing that door?
That's a job I wanted to do.
Yes, it is. And you still
wanted to do it. I wanted to make jurisprudence, good jurisprudence in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And that's why I went to school and studied and got my PhD. I wasn't going to be mediocre. No. I prepared for that job.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a job I wanted to do.
So maybe you're just going the roundabout way to come back to becoming CJ?
I don't know. But what I know is that at the end of the year, I graduate very brilliant students at the School of Law, University of Nairobi.
Yeah. So you're not ruling it out, right? You're not ruling it out.
Well, you never know.
Yeah. Are we going for feedback? As we go for feedback, Dr. Ari, you mentioned a moment ago that you didn't pinch Karibo's nose. What did you do then?
I told you, Jeff, I have moved on. Okay?
All right.
Yes.
I was just trying to do a little therapy here, but it's okay. You moved on. Pauline Juma on Twitter says, Nancy Baraza is a superwoman. She made a mistake, learned from it, and now she shines bright. Good stuff. Daudi Wesonga says, what's Nancy's views and opinion on BBI? You already said that. And would she mind coming to politics? Would you consider, even if it's not the judiciary, would you consider running for politics? Running for a position?
Oh, I'm looking at this politics and sometimes they confuse me. They confuse me. So some are called tanga and you have no problem with being called tanga. You know, us at the School of Law, it conjures such crazy images of you. But those are politics.
Yes.
So I'm still studying and trying to understand.
Yeah, but you know what? You'd be perfect because, you've been through hell and back.
So I'll do what?
You could run for any position. They can throw all the mud they want. You've been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
So I have not closed that door.
Thank you.
This republic is mine, it is ours, and the opportunities are ours. And what I say, Jeff, it is only God who can take away my capacities from me. Not you human beings. No.
You're a tough cookie, huh?
Absolutely.
You're a tough cookie. All right. Patrick Osomo says, let's hear Dr. Nancy Baraza comment about corruption in the judiciary, failure of government to honor court orders, and delays in justice dispensation. There's so much talk about corruption in the judiciary.
That's what I'm hearing, that there is corruption, and there has always been corruption. And part of the reforms were to deal with matters of corruption. But we don't have evidence. And it is Kenyans who know which judges are corrupt. They are the ones who bribe. They say they go through lawyers and give them bundles of money to transmit. They are the ones who know. Now, you remember the Sharad Rao committee, which was meant to clean out the corrupt ones?
Yeah.
Kenyans never turned up with evidence. They never did.
Yeah, because they're scared to death.
Scared of what?
Some cartel. Someone's going to walk up to them and, pop them.
Yeah, so you go to your God.
Aye.
If you are popped out, you go.
What?
Yes, you'll have done a good thing for the republic.
Well, for who? Who cares?
No, then we care.
But then BBI now says whistleblowers will be paid, 5% of the loot?
Yeah, probably that will smoke out people.
I
think that is good. It could smoke out people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Enosh says, every time I see Nancy, I see a lady who would have transformed the judiciary. She is a no-nonsense lady. We will not be seeing magistrates giving installment cash bails. The nose pulling was part of her toughness as a mother. The devil lied to us and she was fired. We are judicial orphans. Okay. Kilonzo, you say, what are her views on the justice system serving Kenyans? Why the disparity between how court cases are handled between the haves and the have-nots? The disparity. Money talks and everything else walks.
That's what people are saying. But again, as I said, these are systemic issues that must be tackled. When Kenyans start to feel that there is a differentiation in meting out justice, then that is not good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, a couple of SMSs. Rebecca Masibai says, Dr. Nancy Baraza, you're a strong woman, my role model, supporter of girls at the Girls Advocacy Initiative in Bungoma County. We love you.
Thank you.
Barry M. Kilale says, one question for you, Nancy. Do you believe that the government seems to be a big fish to fry for the judiciary? The government seems to be a big fish to fry for the judiciary. What does that mean?
I don't know. What does that one mean?
Do you? Yeah, let's think about that for a moment. And also, I still haven't gotten any convincing person to tell me why they should go to the UB40 concert on Saturday. Why'd you want to go? Let me know. I have 2 pairs of VIP tickets. Each ticket is worth 10K. Think about it. We'll get back in a moment. Dr. Nancy Baraza in the house. I tell you, she's speaking her mind. And yes, she says she hasn't closed that door when it comes to that big court, the Supreme Court. What do you think? At Koinanga Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLive. JKLive takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.